Facebook's parent company Meta says they have identified and disabled 2 misinformation campaigns exploiting tensions in Russia and Ukraine. One operation included fake websites claiming to be news outlets based in Kyiv. The other targeted accounts of members of the Ukrainian military with videos portraying Ukrainians surrendering to Russia. Earlier, I spoke with Meta's head of security policy, Nathaniel Gleischer, about how his company is dealing with misinformation and disinformation. What more can you tell us about these campaigns and what went into the decision to remove them?
So we see these types of threats around the world, and we've moved very quickly to take action on both of these campaigns because of the invasion in Ukraine. The good news is, although we're seeing these threat actors both target to manipulate public debate and to hack into people's accounts, they haven't appeared to have that much success so far. So, for example, that influence operation that you mentioned that was trying to manipulate the discussion, they only had under 5,000 followers on Facebook and Instagram. And although they also had presences on a number of other social media sites, Twitter, YouTube, and OK and VK, which are Russian social media platforms, they had fairly small followings there as well.
Now, how crucial do you think quick action was in keeping those followings small? What was the potential here for how many people they could have influenced?
I think it's really important to move quickly on taking down these operations and making sure that they don't reach large numbers of people. That's something that my team and our partners across industry have been really focused on over the last few years as we've built up expertise to tackle these threats. That's what we did here, and that's what our goal is to do around the world.
Now, Facebook has been criticized in the past for being slow to act in certain instances. A 2021 study found that, at least until June of 2021, that Facebook had significant gaps in its efforts to tackle misinformation about COVID-19. The company also didn't remove accounts that spread misinformation about the 2020 election until after the January 6th assault on the Capitol. So has the company made changes since then on how to handle misinformation and disinformation?
So for the situation in Ukraine, my focus is, I'm our security guy. My focus is on finding and tackling sophisticated threat actors that are trying to manipulate public debate. We've stood up a special operations center, which has let us move very quickly in finding and responding to threats like this. So for example, one of the operations we announced today, we first identified around 48 hours ago and had taken action on it within about a day. So moving very quickly like that is part of how we keep these operations small and catch them before they could reach large audiences.
Do you think Facebook could have done more to stop the spread of misinformation before the war broke out in Ukraine?
We've been working on defending public debate in the country and also, to be clear, helping keep people safe for weeks now. I wouldn't want people to think that this is something that's just started. Part of why we're able to find and catch these operations so quickly is that we have been in country and we have been working with partners in country and around the world to do this for weeks now.
Does that complicate things when you have people in the country? Are you worried about that at all, particularly now that Russia's also partially restricting Facebook access after the platform refused to stop fact-checking some Russian media ads that were going around on Facebook? So does that complicate things? Do you worry at all about your own people?
So we have to be very careful to protect not just our employees, but everyone using public debate, using public social media, or people who could be targeted on the ground. To be clear, I'm not necessarily saying we have employees in country, but what we are doing is working closely with civil society groups that are on the ground, and we have experts in the region who are in close contact to make sure we understand what's happening and make sure that we can protect people as quickly as possible.
So can you walk us through this back and forth with Russia right now? Because they're saying Facebook is censoring them. We know Facebook has said that they're not going to stop fact-checking and that that's what this is about. So where does that stand right now? Because we know Russia has also kind of partially restricted Facebook access to the Russian people.
So Russia has demanded, one of the things that we do is we work with third-party fact checkers around the world. And when these fact checkers identify that a claim is false or misleading, we put a label on that, and then we reduce access to the content. So it doesn't get as much promotion and not as many people see it. And if they do see it, they see a very clear notice that the claim is false or misleading. Russia has demanded that we remove fact checks like this from a number of pieces of content on Russian state media. We have refused to do that. We are going to continue to label. We're going to continue to work with third-party fact checkers to make sure that the public understands what content they're seeing, whether it's accurate, and if anything is false or misleading. As of this morning, we're not seeing a complete block on our services in Russia, but we are seeing the Russian government work to throttle access to Facebook and Instagram in response to these steps and in an effort to prevent people from being able to get accurate information about the conflict or to be able to organize to protest the invasion of Ukraine. This is deeply concerning because using social media platforms is one of the most important ways for people to organize, to express their concerns, and to get accurate information about what's happening in critical moments like this.
So what are the next steps for Facebook as they relate to this conflict? And how do you respond to accusations from the prime ministers of Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland, who just signed this letter saying that steps taken so far, not only by Facebook, but other social media platforms, they say they're not enough?
So we've already taken a number of the steps outlined in the letter you're referring to and some of the others, and we're continuing to review requests for us to take additional steps. So as one simple example, we've already begun blocking access for certain Russian state media entities to message into Ukraine at all at the request of the Ukrainian government. The challenges here are bigger than any one company. It's important if we think about the threats we've identified today, both of them are targeting across social media and across the internet. As I mentioned, the influence operation was operational on Instagram and Facebook, but was also on Twitter, also on YouTube, also on OK and VK, and they also ran a number of public websites that were the core of their operation. To tackle these threats, you have to have a whole of society response, which is why we work very closely with our partners in industry, in civil society, and in government around the world to share information and counter these threat actors.
All right, Nathaniel Gleischer, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.